let's turn our attention to this. This is freaking fantastic. I don't think we can say enough about what this guy's trying to do for the PulseChain ecosystem right now. And my hat's off to him. I enjoy his content. I read everything that he tweets about. And I don't know if I sent you this tweet, but Decentralize Me, who is a guy who has been fantastic on the potential pegging of PDI. He's had some great videos about it, breaking it all down on YouTube over the months. He hasn't done too many recently, but he's uncovered a lot of things. You know, it's so interesting how that journey has gone with PDI from being something that, you know, B Roots and Ian talked about a year and a half ago or whatever, and it didn't seem like many others. And then slowly but surely, it's so funny how, you know, and we take ownership of it. I mean, I don't think I was ever like critical. I really don't think you were that critical either, Ewok, but people like to pretend you were. But the people that laughed at those guys early on in the PDI days, that now I'd say the overwhelming majority of people in this ecosystem that's even aware of the potential PDI thing is in agreement that something is going on there, obviously. If not, something's definitely going on there. Anyway, that's not really even the purpose of this, but Decentralize Me on Twitter has been doing all kinds of stuff covering PDI. Most importantly right now, though, he just started a campaign for a fund to raise money for a PulseChain digital marketing program. This is essentially to combat a lot of these bullshit FUD things that we're seeing just come out of nowhere. You know, and I hate to use like the Andrew Tate Matrix thing, but that's really what it is. I mean, like the Matrix coming after Richard Hart because of some of the things that he has created. Obviously, we've talked ad nauseum about the SEC shakedowns and things like that. But now we've even got Interpol putting him on a red notice for offenses that no other standard would warrant a red pull notice. You know, if you look at some of the other people that have a red Interpol notice. So, yeah, it is just left and right. Oh, and I forgot this one. Last week we had the bullshit watches article come out about these articles on these rinky dink, you know, crypto sites that no one reads, that come out with broken English and stuff, with pictures that are from Shutterstock pretending that it's Richard Hart's watches. Like my son literally could have made this shit. I'm not exaggerating. He literally could have. Right. Matter of fact, I might have to have a talk with him. But yeah, I mean, so anyway, if they're going to throw this tabloid bullshit out there to FUD an ecosystem and FUD a guy like Richard Hart, why not combat that by meeting every single one of their articles with a positive article about PulseChain, since what they're doing is really just stuff they're pulling out of their ass anyway. So Decentralize Me comes up with this plan. He asked the God Whale for some help, gets over $100,000, and there's a little above that, I think, sitting in that fund right now. On the very first day, he got multiple donations of over $50K. Wants to be able to publish counter positive articles to the fake FUD shit, like I mentioned. And, you know, if people like Charles Hoskinson, for example, you know, and maybe he's just doing this because of where Cardano's at right now, and maybe there's not a lot going on with it. But if somebody like him that I felt was smart before some of the actions of last week, if he takes those articles that seriously and as gospel, then it might be time to actually combat this stuff to improve some of the SEO. I heard Crypto Coffee talking about this, the SEO around PulseChain, Richard Hart, whatever. You know, if you type that stuff in, you're going to get these, you know, I don't even think it's Cointelegraph. It's just like these bullshit sites I've never even heard of. They're writing these articles literally with Shutterstock pictures of watches. You know, so I think this is fantastic. I think Decentralize Me is a guy that can be trusted. You know, there's lots of things that happen in crypto where people get on here and say, hey, I trust, you know, 0x Steph or whoever it may be, and things don't seem to go that way. But I'm a huge fan of this. He has Nerd Girl working with him to network with different publishers and things like that. So I don't know. I think this is awesome. What do you make of this?
Yeah, fantastic. Here's my only beef, I guess, with the whole thing. They have over $100,000. All right, let's get some stuff done. Right. I know they were asking the other day for even more. My feeling is, let's use what we have and start to let's get some results. Let's see something that's happening, right? Nerd Girl is a very good bridge to other communities. She always has been. totally neutral on a lot of fronts. She's, very involved with this ecosystem, but as well as others. So, she's always that building the bridge type person. She used to have a show called Building Bridges. Yeah, that's great. But before we ask for more money, let's get something done. I feel like could happen. That was my only beef with raising a little over 100,000 and saying, all right, now let's double it. All right, well, let's get some results here first. And I do agree with coffee. I think you start with the SEO stuff. I think when you start talking about these coins and people go and do their own research, you're right. Those are the first things that are going to come up. Just articles that have been pushed through the ether with really nothing to back it up. And for those people like Nuclear Herbs that have gone and done the groundwork and shown that there's really no public records anywhere of any of this stuff so far that we've found, it seems to be all hearsay at this point. So, that was just. I'm a fan of it. Let's put it to good work. Let's clean up the internet a little bit so that when people do their research, they find some good stuff anyway, or at least in the middle, but not one-sided like it is right now. But again, I hope we can spend some of that on marketing as well. I still think that postcard idea was a good thing. Richard has always said it. He is a master marketer. And people think postcards are a terrible idea, but you can take care of a lot of addresses in a very wealthy zip code, and get it out there. People need that recognition, the logo recognition, the branding, whatever it is. They need to see it a couple times before it clicks and be like, oh yeah, I heard about that, or I got something in the mail about that, or whatever it is. Anything that is left over once, obviously we'll never clean up the internet from all the bad stuff that was written. We've been dealing with it for 5 years now. But there are campaigns out there that can kind of squish a lot of the issues. So yeah, that was my only beef with the whole thing was let's get something done before we ask for more money.
Well, to answer to that a little bit, I did just DM you. So Decentralize Me did tweet an update today. Now, I don't know that it's like the kind of results that you're talking quite yet, but he is so far consistently updating on what's going on with it. And it's cool that, like we said, Nerd Girl's involved as well. So it isn't just like one person that's in the community that you're kind of looking after. But if you want to bring this up, he makes some good updates here. Yeah, I figured you would like that other thing I sent you. Yeah, let's see here. So I'll start reading. I'm sure you're going to have it here in a second.
I got it right.
Okay.
Right now.
So Decentralize Me says, PulseChain marketing update. I've created an RFP and have meetings with 8 different agencies this week to ensure we get the best deal. Can we substantiate that? No, but I don't think he's lying necessarily. The agencies are being tasked to create a bid with 2 plans, each with differing weights of budget allocation. Nerd Girl and I will assess the agencies and select which goes through for the community to vote on based on the responses in our conversations with them. The community will have the chance to vote on the plan they like the most over a 3-day period. Then we'll sign and go live ASAP. We've kept 10 to 12K back as contingency budget to be used either with the agency or on freelance work. We've kept the streams open for the agencies to showcase what they believe in or is the best strategy and why. That sounds like a really good plan. And I like that he's done this, just like he's done with the proposals to peg PDI for the hat to vote on, whether it's collateralized by Pulse or Hex or PulseX or whatever. I like this strategy of doing, things like this to vote on. And again, it's nice that it's not a single point of failure with just Decentralize Me, and then Nerd Girl is involved as well. So the more that we get receipts of what this work is that's being done, obviously, it's not like we have this negative history with either one of these folks. It's just that we have massive negative history with a whole bunch of other people. So you just want to know what is going on. So I like this. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, so right here, the budget and timeline, $110,000, 6-month campaign, spending $18,333 per month.
Mm-hmm.
It seems expensive, but I guess to get professionals out there to do the things you need them to do, I'm sure it all adds up. So, um, yeah, I mean, I'm all for it, and again, I want to see some. I want to see some progress. Anyway, this is progress, so it's exactly what I asked for or 5 minutes
Well,
ago. So,
at the very
coffee did bring up the one thing is that we need a what did he call it, a reputation manager or something like that. Did you hear him talking about that?
I think I heard him talking. I don't know if I heard that part though.
Well, just something to fix the reputation of Richard Hart. And some of these things I don't want people to overstep. Richard did things for a reason. Some people took it the wrong way, and I don't know that we need to pay to fix any of that, and I don't think we should. Just
Well, keep
my
in mind
opinion.
somebody on their own volition wanted to send a payment. So I understand it. I mean, he's asking
Yeah,
for people if they would like. I mean, he's not making anybody do it. He's saying if you would like to do
sure.
this, and somebody was willing to do it. I'm with you. Like, let's at least give this a trial run, see where it goes, see what kind of impact it has. I do think that there's validity to the fact that people don't really read that shit too often. But here's the thing with RH though. Most of crypto, because they're just not educated on it and are investing in things that actually aren't even real crypto and don't even know what they're doing, look at Richard Hart as a scammer because they don't look into anything like that. So just to get that kind of press out there as well, could be worthwhile. I do think that Crypto 7 here does bring up an interesting point that,
Yep.
price action is really what we need more than marketing. I mean,
Right.
I do agree with that. I mean, seeing those go up everything else will be a moot point. But that said, when times are tough and all the pieces of news that are come out are these clear hit pieces. I mean, it's not even if it was actually like truthful things that are being done, whatever, but it's clear bullshit hit pieces. And, I think if there's people out there that are willing to throw their own shekels at it to try to help combat it, why
Yep.
not let them do that? It's not like decentralized me's out here begging, like a homeless person or something. I mean, he asked the God whale and then somebody with some money sent him some money. So,
Yep. No, I agree. And I mean, to what you just had up there from Seven, I like the second part of that too, is we do have an army of free PR. So,
right.
why not take some people that may have some sort of marketing background and say, hey, do you want to volunteer some time? Like,
Mhm.
you're part of the community as well. We've got a ton of hexicans, pulsicans, whatever, people from this community. Um, let's put some of them to work that have the background and the experience in some of this stuff, because it is expensive. 18 grand a month is pretty pricey. So, I
Mhm.
think we can start at home here, and I'm not saying collect resumes because people don't like to dox themselves too much. But I'm sure there are people with some marketing experience that could jump in here and help and probably do just as good of a job. And that way we know it's homegrown, organic, things like that.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
And further down in that decentralized me post, he does say that during the 3-day voting period, anyone who donated to the fund who wishes to get their contribution returned for whatever reason can DM him, prove their wallet matches the funds, and then he'll send it back. So says that in there too. So,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. Obviously, everybody's going to be super skeptical of anything like that in crypto, but this isn't quite like somebody creating a token and asking you to do this or anything. I mean, it's, people know that they're putting their money in before they're seeing the results with this type of thing.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And I get that. And but what I'm saying is we
You're
could make,
attacking the whole idea. You're
no,
attacking the
no,
idea. You're
not at all. Listen, I'm
sorry.
saying we could make these funds go further,
Mhm.
and have a more of a reach if we can kind of cut back on it. Like, I don't have a problem with this at all.
Mhm.
I don't at all. I do want to see some results, but I think we should have probably started at home a little bit first. That was my point.
I get you. I get where you're coming from. Well, either way, I think it's a net positive. We'll continue to kind of see where it goes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But so many bullish things are kind of rolling in that who knows? I mean, even if this does get done, maybe it will be a blip on the radar of all the
Yep.
bullish things, that
We
are
might
happening.
not even need it.
Right. Exactly. So kudos to them though for putting this effort in there, and I appreciate that. So yeah.